Hey there, how's it going? Just wanted to reach out and connect with those of you who were unable to attend our midweek service the other day. We started a new series called How to Be Blessed. And in this time, there's people going through a lot of stuff, and we could use every blessing that God has for us. This series idea comes from Matthew chapter 5, and it's not my idea, it's Jesus' idea. He begins what is called the Sermon on the Mount, and the first part of the Sermon on the Mount is called the Beatitudes. It's the attitudes of the heart that we need to have in order to be blessable. God doesn't want to leave us in this world alone. He wants to equip you, help you. He wants to put a blessing in your life, to deposit a blessing in your life to help you. He is so good. We know that we get to go to heaven because Jesus came, died on the cross, and rose from the dead to pay for my sin and your sin. We celebrated that on Good Friday and Easter. But we know that God doesn't just leave us alone in this world to just fend for ourselves until his return one day. He wants to help you every day. If you're a Christian, he's still not done working in your life. He wants to help you and draw you and equip you and give you courage and strength. He wants to bless you. So let's look at the kind of heart, the kind of attitude that God blesses. How to be blessed. We see Matthew chapter 5, verse 1 and 2. Verse 1 says, "One day, as he saw the crowds gathering, Jesus went up on the mountainside and sat down. His disciples gathered around him, and he began to teach them." So Jesus is talking to his disciples, and there's so many people around. They love Jesus. They want to gather in and hear what he's saying. And he begins by telling his disciples how to be blessed, or upon what kind of person does God desire to pour out his blessings. Some people in the world would think that God wants to bless those who are mentally tough, who have it all together, who know that they're the best, and they know that they're successful, and they know that they're able to accomplish anything they put their mind to. They're able to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. That's not what Jesus says. Verse 3, the only verse we're looking at today. God blesses those who are poor and realize their need for him, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. You may be familiar with it from the King James. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So God wants to bless those, it says, who were poor in spirit. They realize their need for him. So what do? We have to acknowledge our spiritual poverty. Now, this doesn't mean that God wants us to be poor, and doesn't that God wants us to walk around the slums and not have enough food to eat or whatever. That's not what we're talking about at all. But we realize our need on God. In other words, we realize that God is our provider, that God is our strength, that God gives us everything. Every good gift comes from God. So we realize apart from him, we're utterly helpless. We're in complete spiritual poverty apart from the Lord. So we have to acknowledge our need. So simply put, God wants to bless those who realize they need him. See, when we come with our own arrogance and our own idea of, I'm a self-made man, I can do anything I want, honestly, we're missing the blessing of God. God is not going to bring a deposit in our lives when we're that way. But when we acknowledge our need, he blesses that kind of person. When we acknowledge that listen, we are utterly incapable of pleasing God apart from his help. There's no way we're going to go to heaven apart from his help. There's no way I can be or you can be good enough to hear God and have him hear our prayers apart from him working in our lives. We realize that he is everything. And when we put him first like that, he blesses us. We understand that our relationship with him comes only from him. We realize that we don't have enough goodness in ourselves to be better than anybody else. In fact, another thing we do is we realize we are, like I said, no better, no more superior than anybody else. We don't look down upon a homeless guy and think they're just lazy. Look how good I am. Look how bad he is. Look how much I have going on and they have nothing going on. They're lazy. That's not the kind of heart that God would want us to have. God doesn't bless a prideful heart like that. Matthew Henry, he's famous for his commentary he wrote. I love this story about him. It says a famous Bible scholar, Matthew Henry, was once attacked by thieves. So he was beat up by thieves. They took his wallet, but he wrote these words in his diary. After being robbed, he says, "Let me be thankful first that I was never robbed before. Second, that although they took my wallet, they didn't take my life. Third, although they took my all, it was not much. And fourthly, let me be thankful because it was I who was robbed and not I who did the robbing." He realized that apart from God's work in his life, he may have been that robber. We need to have hearts which are always appreciative, always thankful, in which we always remember that apart from God, we have nothing. But listen, here's the good thing. With him, we have everything. Blessed are the poor in spirit, those who realize their need for him. For what? The kingdom of heaven is theirs. That God will put a deposit in your life, a blessing in your life. Every day we come to him and realize he's God, we're not. I can't do anything on my own, but God, you are able. We don't need an attitude of pride. We need an attitude of humility. Well, as we go, I want to encourage you to think through what practical steps you can take this week to become more aware of your need for God every day. And why not help those who are close to you to do the same? Maybe think of some ways you can help other people remember and be grateful for God's grace and help and provision and guidance and strength, God's presence in your life. When we acknowledge our need for him, he's there. God bless you guys. Have a great day. If you want to reach out, you absolutely can. You can go to our website, srworship.org. At Solid Rock, we love you guys, and we just want to be an encouragement to you and hope that God blesses you today. And hopefully you and I, we can live lives that are blessable to receive every good gift that he has. God bless you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.